Hello and welcome to the Bottom Line Me podcast. I'm Ann Allard, and today I'm delighted to have joining me is Judy Nemeth. Today, Judy's here to talk with me about one of our most popular programs at Agency University, and that is our mentorship program, which we offer to our agents twice each year. The primary objective of the program is to help and guide our participants into developing and managing a sales process. And as I said, it's one of our most popular offerings every year. And Judy has taken on the role of mentor several times. So I'm delighted to have her here to talk with me about what she's learned from the mentorship program, what value it's brought to both her personally and to those that she's enrolled in the program. So Judy, welcome again, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Hello, Ann. Thank you for inviting me. I'm tickled that you asked me to help.
Great. Well, I know in addition to your traditional responsibilities as a sales and marketing representative at Old Republic Title, you've really embraced the mentorship program. And, I think for most of us, none of our career paths are solitary ones. Most of us have had at least one person in our life who took a chance on us or believed in us or wanted to invest in our future or in our success. It's kind of a way that I see as paying it forward. So I was wondering, let's start there. Why did you decide to become a mentor?
It's such an exciting way to, as you said, to help someone. The phrase "pull yourself up by your bootstraps" is a misnomer because you literally can't. Someone has to help you. And I think that in our world, a lot of our agents are like an island or, the captain of the ship, but they're the IT department and they're the accounting department and they're the marketing department. And they have so many priorities pulling simultaneously at them that this one can get lost, and they just need to be brought back on track a little and given some help. And so I think it's so exciting to give that to them.
Yeah, great. Well, that is reason enough, I would think. So when you decide that you want to offer this opportunity up to one of your customers, what's the process like for you? How do you identify someone, and then how do you approach them?
Well, in conversation with the agents, you get a feel for who is driven to expand their business. Particularly in this market, it's been a little bit of everybody, but some people have more of a vision on expansion, and they'll mention that they need to do this. I need to do this. I've got to get to this. This is on my list. I need, this year I'm going to do it. This will be the year. And you can hear them say, "Help me," without them saying "help me." And that's what I try to focus on when I'm, having lunch or dropping off calendars or whatever.
Right. So once you've identified someone, are there any initial challenges that you have to overcome? And if so, what are they?
Absolutely. I mean, once again, you're assigning them an additional task. Right. When they already have plenty of tasks to do. And it's easy for them to say, well, closings come first, and I have to balance my accounts. I'll get to that. So pulling them back in and getting them on task is the first challenge. The second challenge is, as it's a two-part program, some people are more inclined to do the paperwork part because that's easy and comfortable for them. And some people are more inclined to do the footwork, boots on the ground kind of work, because that's more comfortable for them. So whichever one is less comfortable, you kind of have to give them a little nudge in that direction.
Right. So that leads me to my next question. Depending on who you're dealing with, do you have to tailor your style at all to meet the style of who you're dealing with, or do you have to make some adjustments in how you approach them?
Absolutely. You want to make sure that you don't overwhelm them. So some people can be overwhelmed, on any of these given tasks. You want to support them where they're feeling timid. Mm-hmm. And Once again, depending on which of these tasks it is, they may or may not feel timid about it. But yes, you always have to know your audience when you are communicating effectively. So you want to make sure you understand their personality types, their where they have trepidation and where they're just going gangbusters. And yeah, you change how you approach all of that.
Yeah. Any success story that comes to mind that you'd like to share with us?
Well, one of my favorite success stories is a woman that's exactly what she said. She said, I have to do this. I need to do this. I'm going to do this. And she needed pushed, and I pushed her, and she did it, and she got new accounts, which was exciting. But my actually surprisingly favorite story is a different woman. I tried to meet with my mentees in person as much as possible, and this woman was physically too far away. Mm-hmm. And we did all of the sessions via video calls. Every week, checked in and talked to her and whatnot. And at the end of the mentor program, she told me prior to those meetings, she never opened her camera up on a video call.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And that's where she pushed herself individually. And I had no idea, but she was going to push herself to leave the camera open and talk live one-on-one. And she really appreciated that this was a safe environment for her to exercise a little bit of courage and do something that was uncomfortable for her. Yeah, it was a neat surprise, because that's, it's not part of the mentor program, how to talk to a camera, but she really pushed herself, and it really expanded her as a person. How exciting is that?
Amazing. It's a win. Sometimes you don't know what the win is going to be,
Right.
but clearly that probably was a confidence booster for her by the end of the program, So, all right, let's switch over to you now. So, has mentoring kind of influenced your professional development or impacted your role as a salesperson? And if so, talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It continually reminds me that I have to walk the walk. I'm asking them to do these things, and I need to do them myself. I need to keep myself in check. I need, to keep myself accountable to see where, as we frequently talk about the perfect week, what is my perfect week? Am I striving to get my perfect week just as much as my mentees are? And then when I come up for a creative solution for them, sometimes it works for me, like they're having a hard time chasing this person down or getting the order or getting the meeting. And I try to brainstorm creative ways. So I'm like, oh, well, that might work for me too. So yeah, I get a lot out of it. It's a wonderful experience.
So for those in our audience that don't know what the perfect week is, can you give us kind of a little summary of what that is?
Sure. So as a mentor, you want your mentee to come up with what the perfect week is. And there are categories that we're specifically identifying. How many times did you drop in and say hi? How many times did you ask for the order? How many times did you send a handwritten note? Different categories like this. And you hone it down. We all have different amounts of time we can devote to this. Of course, in my traditional role, that's what I do all day long. For my mentees, once again, they have to balance it with closings and, the escrow account and whatever. So they come up with a week that is they're doable, bite-sized, consumable tasks, but they make sure that they get them done every week so they can get in the habit of doing this and, expanding their business.
Right. Well, I think one of the things we like to say in this program is, how do you know if you've had a successful or a perfect week if you aren't keeping track of the things that you want to do or that you want to make sure are included in your sales process or your sales system. So
there's the famous saying, what gets measured gets done. So if it gets measured, if you're measuring it, it's going to get done.
It's true. It's so true. Anything else you'd like to share with our audience about the mentorship program or your experience as a mentor?
Well, I think my favorite thing about being a mentor is the combination between being cheerleader and being coach, right? A good coach is going to give you the tools so you can make the play work. Mm-hmm. And a good coach is going to review you when you've made a mistake on those instructions that he or she gave you. And the cheerleader is going to say, but you could do this. You can absolutely do this. So it's a real fun combo there. I'm a little bit more naturally the cheerleader. So to expand my personal role and make sure I'm the coach too, to say, well, you missed this, but you can do this, and this is how you can tighten it up here. It's just a really fun balance. It's a great opportunity to get to know the agents in the market, and just it's that one-on-one connection for 6 or 7 or 8 weeks that you have with these people it's a special time. It's a special time.
Great. Well, that's great. All right. So, on our show, we like to get the bottom line always. So give us the bottom line on why someone should consider being a mentor.
It's an extremely exciting, intense, one-on-one way to get to know people. And I'm vacillating between the words intense and intimate, because intimate is bad for business, right? I don't want to say that, but you really get to know people on a different level than you do when you're, going over numbers or whatever. You get to learn to know about their weaknesses and their fears, and they're being vulnerable in front of you. And you'll never get the opportunity to experience that with them unless you push them a little. And that's what a good mentor does. Like I said, that's the coach part. You're going to push them a little. So it's a tremendous opportunity to really get to know your agents. It really is.
That's great. Well, that's a good reason, I would say. Well, Judy, I think we're just about out of time, but I have enjoyed having this conversation with you immensely. As you know, it's one of my favorite programs that Agency University offers every year. And
Yes.
to our audience, before I let you go, our next mentorship program will begin in January. So if you're interested in learning more about it, reach out to your sales rep or send a message to us at Agency University, and we'd be glad to give you a little more information. So until next time, to all of my friends in the audience, may you continue to learn, grow, and prosper. Thanks again.